I come from the Maldives, and we're only 1 meters above sea level, which means we'll have to relocate once the sea level rises. But instead of expressing the urgency of this issue, it's surprising how most Maldivians don't talk about climate change on a regular basis. But where will our future generations call home? How come all Maldivians are not engaged in this debate and are looking for solutions? This made me wonder, what commits people to environmental sustainability? And what creates the perfect conditions to practice environmentally friendly businesses? From my study, I've found a correlation between environmental performance and human development. And by human development, I mean measures such as access to sanitation facilities, drinking water, infant mortality, poverty levels, literacy rates, income inequality, corruption, healthcare, and employment rates. On this table, I've listed the top and bottom 3 countries on Yale University's Environmental Performance Index and compared them with measurements of human development from CIA's World Factbook. And I've heat mapped them to represent green as good human development, orange in between, and red as weak human development. As you can see, the top 3 countries that perform best environmentally tend to have relatively good human development measures, whereas the bottom 3 tend to have relatively weak human development measures. But why? Countries with good human development measures may have customers and employees who demand for environmentally responsible products and businesses. They are more likely to recognize standards of compliance such as fair trade, ISO, AMP-certs, and so on. This makes governments and businesses align their strategies with customer demands, as it produces an opportunity to create value by being environmentally responsible. And to be environmentally responsible, companies who outsource from other countries have to make sure their suppliers comply with environmental standards of the company's home country as well. Otherwise, the company's reputation is at stake as well. For example, a study made by Professor Fikru in 2014 showed that businesses in Ethiopia who exported the majority of their sales to developed countries had a higher chance of adopting international certification. Now, this shows that environmental compliance improves when there is a demand for it. On the other hand, in a country with weak measures for human development, pressure from consumers for environmentally friendly business practices may be low. One reason could be that customers and employees are unaware of the benefits of being environmentally friendly. This could be due to low levels of education and income. For example, the majority of the islands of the Maldives don't have access to proper healthcare, education, employment, or sanitation facilities. And while they are in need of such basic utilities, it's unlikely for them to demand a slightly more expensive environmentally friendly option. If there isn't a demand for an environmentally friendly product, it might not be commercially viable either. Therefore, in underdeveloped countries, being environmentally responsible wouldn't be perceived to create much value for governments and shareholders either. When we look at governments of developed countries, it's more likely for governments to develop and enforce environmental policies. This gives environmentally friendly firms an advantage due to the strong regulatory support, because environmentally harmful businesses will have to pay the penalties proportionate to the damage they are causing to the environment, and this reduces their profit margins. In underdeveloped countries, governments and firms are often faced with budgetary limitations, and this attracts them to less costly but environmentally irresponsible strategies. Therefore, governments and investors are likely to favor projects with higher economic returns in the short run than supporting environmentally friendly projects that typically show returns in the long run. However, even with strong financial positions, a lack of regulatory support in terms of subsidies and taxes also makes being environmentally friendly unattractive for businesses. Environmentally harmful businesses face minimal pressure from governments to comply with environmental standards due to a lack of regulatory threats or non-compliance. As a result, pollution-intensive companies have a cost advantage over firms that are environmentally responsible. Investing in renewable technologies can be costly and may require long-term investment. However, countries with low human development may be politically unstable and may not have strong financial and legal institutions. This makes it very risky for companies to make long-term investments in these countries, because a change in the political orientation of these countries may force these companies to withdraw completely from that country. But why are renewable technologies costly compared to fossil fuel combustion, for example? Now, as James Hansen said, fossil fuel combustion is being subsidized by $400 billion per year globally, whereas renewable technologies are not. But how come there is an imbalance in the allocation of subsidies? Wouldn't fossil fuel combustion be a less attractive method if companies were forced to pay for the environmental damage they caused? And wouldn't renewable technologies be a more attractive method if they were subsidized equally around the globe? Why are governments supporting a method that we know is damaging the environment when we know there's a better alternative? Why can't we push governments to subsidize the cost for renewable energies and penalize environmentally harmful companies? But this might depend on the level of facilitation from governments, such as freedom of expression and right to protest. So when we compare factors such as pressure from customers, employees, governments, and competitors between developed and underdeveloped countries, we can find that environmentally friendly practices tend to have favorable conditions only in countries with good measures for human development. Now, I understand my research is an undergrad study and it may lack several aspects in an in-depth research would have. So I'd like to explore this topic further, and I urge everybody to do the same as well. By doing so, I hope we can work together and understand what makes people engage and commit to environmental sustainability better. And with a better understanding, I hope we can increase the impact of our actions. Thank you very much.